All right, welcome back to the second episode of the DeathHammer podcast. I'm Jacob,
I'm Johnny.
and today we have a special guest. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Finn. I'm involved with stuff in IHMR, and I'm also in Blow the Neck, and I do loads of things. It's great fun.
Yeah, underselling yourself a bit there, Finn. You do a
Seamless.
lot, do a lot more than just playing in a band and doing stuff for iHammer. Like you
Yeah.
put on all the shows. You put on all of our shows as well, not just
Yeah.
putting on shows that we're not in. So I mean, you do quite a fair bit. So
We'll get into that though. It's fine.
yeah. So I mean, in this whole lockdown period, what are you doing to kind of keep yourself busy, music-wise? That is.
Music-wise, really, all I've been doing is listening to bands. I've actually not done a whole lot. I've just moved house, so I don't have my electronic kit set up yet in the house. So that is a task I've been saying I want to do this week, all week. So I'll eventually get it done tonight, hopefully, or tomorrow. But then I'm going to start playing a bit and jamming stuff that is being written. So yeah, it's fun. But outside of that, it's just listening to music.
Decent,
Yeah.
decent.
What bands you
Yeah.
been jamming at this present moment?
I cannot stop listening to Every Time I Die, which will surprise nobody. And a lot of Converge as well, like been really getting it. Then Pig Destroyer and La Rue as well. So keeping it mixed up,
Yeah.
but yeah, just heavy
Did,
shit.
Did you pick up the Malevolence record that dropped? Just
Oh,
the-
did I, Jonathan? Did I? Yeah, it actually arrived today. I got the Hoodie 2X, and I also got the Clear Smoke Malevolence EP. So yeah, it's really cool. I've not actually listened to it yet because my record player is broken in the move, but that's not the point. But yeah, it's I listened to what is it? Oh, what's the track that just came out recently?
the fucking
slow
the
one.
ending one.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
one at
yeah.
the end. Oh fuck, yeah, I've forgotten the name of it now. But
Well, that
oh my
one's
God,
really-
it fucking
yeah, it's-
slaps.
It's so good, yeah. So
So I tend to listen to albums like as an album.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people are like that, but I kind of feel that. I mean, it was more kind of like an older thing where like bands would write an album and like later put the songs in an order that they would feel kind of like
fits the track.
yeah. Whereas like
Fits the release. Yeah.
you do get a lot of bands that are just kind of like right we've got 6 singles and like maybe like 5 or 6 kind of like maybe not killer songs but just a little bit of filler here and there, and then they bring out an album like that, and I'm just kind of like why not just stick with a little like a wee EP that kind of has a lot of things that are a lot similar and you can kind of feel the whole album out, whereas like if it's just singles I'm not really into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you want 100% bangers.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest.
Kind of think that's the way music's going at this present moment. Though, is just releasing more singles and more EPs. So where you'll get more releases, but they seem to be more like quality content, if that makes sense. These days,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, totally. I've seen that over the past couple of years, and I really like it. I think it's one of the better parts of everything that's going on. Like as much as I love, like Iowa as an album by Slipknot, I can remember every track on it, like where it is. I memorized it all, loved it. But like, I couldn't tell you. Like, I had to struggle for a second to remember Grey Chapter's name. Like, I'm like, and it's a great album, the great one, yeah. I really like that album, and it's not indicative of Slipknot. It's just
No.
EPs are, I think they're better because you get like 5 excellent tracks rather than 6 excellent tracks with a lot of skits and
Yeah.
stuff. Like the new Loathe album is basically a really cool EP with like some cool skits in between. They're not funny or anything, but it's just like the way it's like it laid out and stuff. It's really cool, excellent soundscape. It's amazing,
Yeah.
but it's not like what I would consider an actual album, I guess.
Yeah, I mean to go along the same lines, like the Dealer EP as well was, like that flowed so well for me. I love that it just kind of had like the little kind of like ebbs and flows with like the chill out kind of bit, like the one song that's kind of like slightly more chill, and then it just kind of like fucking blasts you again in the ass, which is fucking awesome. Like there is just so much good music out there right now, and it's good to be part of a scene that's producing a lot of good music.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, you obviously play in a band with myself. You're on the drums. When was it you first started playing drums?
I started playing drums in 2003. So yeah, it's been a minute. Played in school. I started on a chair in second year in near an academy. It's good fun. And then Dad bought me a kit and I just played it to death for years. And I just love drumming. It's the best. And I can't wait till I can play an actual kit again. Like, I've not played since our tour, like with Negative Measures at the start of March.
Oh, it's been a hot minute, man.
It has.
What was your first kit? What was that first kit your dad got you?
It was a Premiere. It was like a shit cream colored Premiere. Like, I don't think the skins have been changed in like 30 years. Like, it was just like, you can think of like an old drum kit looks like. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I loved it, man. It was great. Honestly, funny story. It was one of the shows with one of my old bands, which we'll get to. We were playing with, I think, Zombie Militia were actually, well, not Zombie, it was Deviate from before then, perhaps, from the show. Mm-hmm. And I was providing backline kit, and I burst my kick drum skin, and I didn't have a spare with me.
God. Oh, God.
So you
just
know,
slapping all night long.
Oh yeah, I went right through it. So like we had to turn it around. And use the front Rezo skin as a batterhead. Somehow it you know what? It was a show in downtown. Like, it was gonna sound crap anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah. I learned like keep your gear in good nick.
So for those who are maybe under the age of 25, might not know what downtown is, what downtown USA is. So do you want to give us a brief wee breakdown of the venue history of Inverness?
Well, I mean, downtown's probably one of the only ones that's gone that I like remembered. Yeah. But downtown is basically where the ice rink is. There's like a small like karate studio next to it, or taekwondo. I think it's taekwondo, and basically that was a venue called Downtown USA, and like some big bands played there. Like Enter Shikari played there, Gallows played there. The Gallows show like got shut down. Gallows was like, I think that was probably the last show that happened, or like one of the last big shows that happened there, because people like made holes in walls, and it was like ratchet as fuck. Like, it was because it wasn't 18 like to get in. So like,
shit.
So I was like 16 when I was playing there. I'm now 29, so you know, it was a while ago.
That is the one thing that Inverness is missing now, and it won't have if the Ironworks goes, is an all ages venue. You know, most venues in Inverness are pubs or double as pubs, or they all have like a liquor license. So you know they're slinging the booze to, and you know they can't be selling it to kids. So what are you gonna do, right? You know,
exactly. You've got to save the kids, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're you know, a person who's not 18 and you play in a band, I'd be fucking pissed off. I mean, I know when I was that age, I was kind of a bit bummed. We only really had I mean, technically, they probably shouldn't have let us play, but like the Portland club used to let bands play, you know, and obviously they would just kind of be like, yeah, he's 18, yeah, that's fine, just let that slide.
And how much of a problem have you found that's been when you've been trying to organise shows through here, getting an over 18s venue or an under 18s venue, should I say? Because that's one of our biggest problems. Maybe not for hardcore music because the audience is a bit older, but especially for us in like pop punk and that, like your target audience is about 14. So you really need these venues to play.
You need to be careful with that. I do find. I mean, it's not a secret, but me and Jacob, we worked together on doing a potential show, and we were going to have to go to the Ironworks because it was the only place we could do 14 plus, and obviously because it was a large pop punk sort of vibe to it, we wanted to make it kind of an all ages show, just because stereotypically younger folk are enjoying it more than our fans, maybe, Johnny, who are all crusty fuckers who are just want to punch each other.
What are you talking about? Kids love our music.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to talk a bit more about that show in more in detail, I suppose we could. But I think it was like maybe end of last year, was it? We had the idea to put on like a huge like all day sort of thing, and we slowly realised that there was only one venue in the north that could accommodate it, and then at that time that was when all the problems started happening with the ironworks and all the potential hotel business, and we just struggled to get anything booked. So unfortunately, the idea sort of died. But it was probably would have been like, not to make just a humble brag, it probably would have been like gig of the year every year for the next 2 years. But
oh yeah, well I mean like you look at the pop punk show that the last pop punk show that I remember from the Ironworks. You know, what was it? Spoke Too Soon, Distance Between Us, Yourselves, In This Life. You know, I mean, that was I feel like I'm missing someone else. Dude Trips, that was it. Yeah, I mean like, what a lineup that was. So I mean like, you just knew from like the kind of crowd response and the amount of people that actually showed up to that kind of show. I was like, I mean, pop punk's got a decent scene here.
Considering from what it was, I remember when we did the Woes show, I don't know if any of you guys were there, but there was not that many people there. Like, that's no dig on anyone. I just don't think there was a scene for it at the time. But then to see that Ironworks show where Spoke Too Soon pretty much like fill out they had the curtain cutting it off, so I don't know how many people that makes, but there was still a fair amount of fucking people in that place, and it was really crazy to see how far that like the whole scene, pop punk scene here, had like grown in the last 2 years. So it was really frustrating to see that growth, and then all this shit happen, and it kind of feels like it's just kind of stopped it dead.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I don't know how much you know, Johnny, about this, but it was going to be like a pop punk versus hardcore show, and it was going to be like,
I think I remember the idea being thrown about it.
And it was really going to be a lot of fun, just because like both kind of, there's a lot of crossover as well between those two sort of families, so to speak. So it would have been really cool. But I do think like our first show was with Spoke Too Soon, which was funny because that's how, Jacob, that's how we sort of started chatting and doing stuff. It's because you were like, what the fuck is this? Because it was like a pop punk show, and then we opened up at like 400 miles an hour of like down-tuned riffy business, and it was good times. But like that last pop punk show in Ironworks was really good. Like I remember that being there, and it was sick. I even two-stepped and didn't knock my pint over, which is really cool. You were like fucking two-step Finn, Jacob, and I was like, all right, mate, sorry. But yeah, no, I mean, it does come back to there is a scene for stuff like that. I'm going to use the words "there is a scene" or "there isn't a scene" so many times over the next like 20 minutes, but it's the way it works. Like, there is a scene for stuff, and like Woes, who unfortunately are no longer a band, which who saw that coming? Yeah, totally. Like how that didn't do really well is mad to me. Like, I don't know. Like, not to disparage, but like, was it the support? Was it like the promotion? You know what I mean? And not in a negative way.
I mean, who put the show on? I can't
it was so this was our first show, and it was done at Rock and Roll Events. I think that's what it used to be called down in Glasgow. We're like, damn, they've done like all the big shows. There's going to be lots of people there, and this is going to be crazy. And then like, just like us like thinking like we had never played a show, and then we turned up at Tooth, and we were like, oh man, grassroots music and that. Oh yeah. So it was like a huge culture shock. As soon as we played it, we never left that venue for many years. I think we like added it up, and I think about a third of our shows had been in Tooth and Clawney.
Oh well, I mean,
you don't want to know how many times I've played there. between Below the Deck and my former stablemates King Cobalt and Cobalt, like I must have played there about 20 times in the past like 2 years now. Well, taking it to God, it's been a long time.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, man. Like I remember. In Also Simple, we that was the only venue that would, and they would repeatedly have us on as well. Like Ali, the front man of Mang and Connor, who's also in the band that me and Finn are in, Below the Neck. He used to be in Also Simple with me as well, and we played the Tooth and Claw relentlessly. This was when it was still downstairs and it wasn't a proper upstairs venue. And I remember nights where Ali would just be like James, the guy who runs the Tooth, would just be like, Ali, I need you guys to play tonight. I don't have anyone booked in, and he would message me and Connor and Dylan, and he'd be like, hey, can you guys play tonight? And we'd all be like, no, it's like tonight. We've not jammed in ages or anything. And Ali would show up there, and I think it was 3 weeks in a row that I think it was 3 consecutive weeks that it was an Also Simple show, wow. And it was a different lineup each time as well.
That's amazing. I remember seeing also, as funny stories, but I remember seeing Also Simple like multiple times, and I never saw you in the band, Johnny. Because I think you were always working. Because at the time you worked in the Aquadome, so like you couldn't change your shift at the last second. Do you know what I mean? Like no. if you were on like lifeguard duties or whatever, you couldn't like just disappear. But yeah, I remember thinking, I was like, does this band have a bassist? And then I remember turning up and I was like, why is Ali playing drums? I was like, I thought Connor was the drummer, and then Connor was the guitarist, and then Kieran from Spoke Too Soon was the drummer.
Oh my god!
And I was just like, what is going on? And I like I hadn't ever like spoken to you guys. I think I'd maybe chatted to you and Connor once because I maybe had a Not Loose shirt on or something like that, and you guys had like windbreakers on, and we were like, oh sick, good music. And then don't know what we're doing here. And then I can't remember what show we're at even, but I just remember thinking, oh man, those guys don't look like they should be in this band anymore. And, so ironically, you weren't.
We both had our experience with playing bad shows. So I mean, to transition into what you've been doing now with promoting your own kind of shows. What was it that kind of drove you to do that? Let's say forced your hand.
Forced my hand, right? Well, so really it revolves around what I think is a good show and what I think is a successful show. So I grew tired of playing supports or doing support slots for bands that we didn't really fit with. Mm-hmm. This wasn't for Below the Neck, actually. It was in a previous band, but I kind of got tired of doing that just because the gigs were still awesome. Like we got to play with Junior, which Mark Andrews, who's with WWE. So like that's sick. Like they're a great pop punk band, like really, really cool. Yeah. But like King Cobalt, like a metalcore hard rock band. And it was great. And like we had so much fun, but it just didn't feel like it was the right fit. And then I was but at the same time that was born out of, there's not that many bands at the time. It wasn't laziness or anything like that. So what I wanted to do was sort of take my passion for like the heavier hardcore kind of vibe, like stuff like Us or, our mates Bitterwood, I want to get all the bands I like up here. That is like the major thing for me. And like, yeah, I book Below the Neck up on shows simply because I know that historically we have drawn like a decent crowd. Yeah. And what I want to do as a band that have been outside of my hometown is play in front of people. So like, if I can know there's going to be people there, it's going to be sick. Yeah, I don't have to worry about the incoming band having a shit time, and that's where it came from.
The last thing you would want as a band playing a town or a city that you've never played for is to be playing to no one, which as a frequent gig goer in Inverness, I've seen plenty an empty venue for bands that I would expect to have like 20-30 people, and I know 20-30 people in the same city as me that would love these kind of bands. And like you say, it just kind of, if you're that band that's playing that show and you're not seeing anyone there, you're kind of like, is it us? Like, are we not drawing the crowd? But you look at how oversaturated the current music industry is, and like it is really hard to kind of like stand out, and unless you like know somebody personally like within a band, then you can, it's kind of hard to get a crowd in a city if you don't know anyone there. So
yeah. Well, we've played Glasgow. We were very lucky with that Glasgow show, to be fair. The CU Space Cowboy support, that was awesome. It was packed. But I mean, we've played Edinburgh, Aberdeen. We played Fraserburgh, baby. That was a great show, despite the fact nobody liked us.
I think it's a perfect case of do it yourself, because that was like trying every venue in Aberdeen, like, do you want this? And it's like, no. Do you want this? No. And I went, fuck it, some pub in Fraserville will have it. And William and all that was just brilliant in having us. And it was just like you said, it was total culture shock because people over there had no idea what the fuck hardcore was. And you're like, oh yeah, by the way, here's 45 minutes of this. And everyone was just not fucking ready. But it's like you say, I think as well, you were saying about like the different supports and that, and I think one of the first times we actually spoke was when in this live in King Cobalt were supporting, I think it's the Hostiles, and like they're a ska band, and you guys were like making music that should be in WWE. We were like, you guys do not fit here, huh? That's how we felt when we were playing shows with like Seed of Sorrow and like Zombie Militia. We're like, why the fuck are we even here? Like no one gives a fuck about us right now, but we still play. It's like you say, you just want to play to people, so you're having the time of your life, but you're just knowing like these people like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I mean that show is that, funnily enough, that was at Captain Tom's, and that was actually like a cool show. Yeah, because it was King Cobalt, Hostiles, yourselves, and what was the other band on that show?
I totally didn't take it from the venue.
Yes,
Daily Racket.
Oh yeah. Right, now like that was like a cool show. Like if anyone who doesn't know Captain Tom's, it's a room the same size as my living room. Like, and like you go in and Tom's like the soundest guy you have ever met. Like just such a nice dude. And he lets, bands play shows, and it's intimate as fuck, right? So he turned up, and we were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'd listened to the Hostiles. I knew Theo, who was in the band at the time, who also played on that Spoke Too Soon show with Low Neck, but that's just another side thing, because this is the smallest music scene in the world.
Yeah, we should mention that every musician in Inverness plays in at least two bands. It's...
Yeah.
There's
and if
only
you're a drummer, you're probably responsible for about half the music in Scotland.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. I am not, though, thank fuck. But yeah, I mean, it's just like that show's a perfect example of like it was really good crack. It was a great show. We had a lot of fun, but it wasn't a particularly great fit. But that was just because we needed a date on a tour, and that's just the way it worked, But it can't. Going from there, I wanted to like just make sure that I could stop that from happening to me as much as possible, and not in a negative way towards anyone else, but just I wanted to do what I thought I could do better myself personally.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Sometimes it might not be that people who are the current promoters or anything like that are doing anything wrong. It's just that times have changed, and maybe the old ways of kind of like booking bands and putting on shows, and then just kind of not so much expecting the crowd to just show up, but just being like, oh, if I put it in the paper, if I put a post up here, if they like that band, they'll come. That whole kind of, just marketing your shows like that, I wouldn't say it's dead, but it's definitely, you got to go to more effort now. So I mean, you put your first show on with IHMR last year. How did that go down? Yeah.
So, well, I mean, there's IHMR branding shows. The first one I did properly was Neckfest, I think. I hope. Yeah, but it was Neckfest. But actually, the first show I put on in sort of like doing the hardcore thing and like heavy stuff and branding it that way was Within This Life with Jacob when we did the Weekender. So I put on the Inverness show just because we were like, hey, you're asking us to come play with you. Like, do you want to come play with us? And it ended up being probably the most insane show I've ever been at in like Inverness. It was
fucking
rad.
Frightening when we were like, oh, we sold it out. We're like, oh, cool. And then like 20 minutes later, oh, we sold it out again. We're like, all right, fuck, there's people here now. What the fuck? It was crazy.
Was that the one when we had crowd surfing?
Yeah, there was crowd surfing, broken glasses. Like that was like the like sweatiest gig ever. That's what I think. There's a shot of Thomas in the crowd. Yeah, I think it was. Oh, fuck, what's he called? I was so bad I can't remember. Your fucking tall mate, he's at all shows, takes photographs. Wayne, thank you. Wayne, my dude, Wayne. I was struggling so much there. Like, I think, pretty sure it's Wayne that took that shot, and it's like so good. But like that show was crazy, and I think we all kind of realized, oh wow, like no one expected it to be that good, like that busy, and that people were that into it, and it was awesome. So it kind of like spurred me to do what I had been thinking about doing anyway.
Well, it was. What blew my mind was that it was the first time you'd, kind of like put on the show. It was the first time I think we'd headlined a show as a band as well. And all those kind of things, pulling together. And, you would not expect the bands on that bill to have pulled in such a crowd, but it worked so well, and yeah, I was very happy with that show. I mean, and if you're not from Inverness or if you've never been to the Tooth, you'll know that it was a sweat fest, and for crowd surfing to be going on in a venue that's not even like the average height of a man, it's it was that was that was some good marks, top marks for that.
I'll never forget that gig because I came home with my mum and she was like, I can't believe people actually come to your shows. Like, there was a lot of people there. And I was like, told you people like this. And she's like, yeah, I didn't think that people actually dig this. Like, holy shit. So after that, she was like, fuck, like, you might actually be doing, like, onto something. And I was like, yeah. That's how we thought as well. Like, we played that show and we were
burn
just like,
your mum got you there.
fucking yeah. My mum comes to all the shows. She's a pit warrior. Like, Lewis.
She is.
Lewis and my mum
Your
always chugging
mum's a
cheers.
legend. Yeah, I mean, like on top of that, I mean, like that was a mixed bill, and it was a Sunday night in Inverness in February, by the way. Like it was like the 24th of February, so it was before payday.
It was a
Oh
Sunday
yeah,
as
so
well,
it was.
wasn't it? Was it Sunday?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
the whole point of
Sunday.
the tour. Like, we were doing the tour this year, and Chris was like, yeah, these tours always fall on your birthday. Yeah. And I was just like, almost like somebody planned them to be on my birthday. They were just like, oh. So yeah, like,
Nothing gets past Chris.
So
2 years in.
after your first success,
Yeah.
I take it you then went on to plan a big bonanza for
yeah.
for
So
your next show.
So after that, I wanted to do a lot of different things, but I kind of wanted to try and wait and do it right. And then so this, like I funnily enough, I wanted to do like an all-dayer of hardcore stuff. And the idea was in my head before that show Within This Life, actually. But I saw it could work with Girders to a lot, which was like an all-evening metal show across 2 venues in Inverness. It was in Tooth and Claw and in Mad Hatters. And that was Steve Robertson that put that together. And it was really cool. It was like a great night. I did 2 sets that night because I hate myself in Tooth and Claw, which was hot as fuck. But I just remember thinking like, oh, what if I could do it, but with, because that was all like 2, with the exception of I think Catalysis and Broken Ravens. I think they were the only 2 non-local bands. Whereas I wanted to kind of flip it and have 2 or 3 local bands with everything else being outsiders, or bring them out of town. And I originally wanted to call it Break Your Fucking Neck Fest, but I thought, nah, it's not a good idea. Just because it was like to enforce the pit thing.
Getting away with posters for that would have been a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the end of the day, sort of, summer's a bad time to do shows because there's 65,000 other dates. Ironically, I haven't announced this, but Neckfest isn't happening this year, unsurprisingly. But the date I did have for it is Slam Dunk got moved to the same day, and I was like, cool. Nah, I'm good. Fuck that, man. So like that, and there's like other stuff's been moved near it. Not that any of it will happen probably with COVID, but so like I just wanted to do like a big show with outsiders, make it heavy as fuck, and kind of mix it up a little bit, but within the heavy genre. And with the exception of, I think, one band I got in touch with, and I was talking to, and that it wouldn't work out for them. And then I got in touch with Baylor, who are from Ireland, and I love, like, they're so good. Simply because I remember Metal Hammer, like, these are like the Irish Every Time I Die. I was like, oh, amazing, sick. I need to listen to this band. And then, just like followed them ever since. And I was just like, if you guys ever fancy a show in Scotland, like, let me know. It was before, like, IHMR was a public thing. And they were like, oh, yeah, cool. I was like, oh, okay. And then I like quickly realized, like, they have management now. Brady from Conjurer, Brady Deep Rose, he's their manager. And they're like such a fucking nice bunch of dudes. So I had them as headliners. The brain stops working, but it was a great bill, and like we had like a lot of buds on the show. Bitterwood came through and did the show. Connor Musket came through and did the show.
Devil Within.
Luke
Devil
Walkley,
Within.
I think. Yeah.
Luke. What? Yeah, you played it, Jacob. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You opened it. Actually, you were the very first Neckfester.
It was.
Shit.
Because I needed a good local support to open the show. Fun fact.
When you realized that you could just instead of like having to know people to book shows, and instead of when you realized you could just message a band or message whoever managed that band and be like, hey, can I book this band up in this venue? And they were like, yeah. When that just, hey, it's that easy. Like when you realized that, was that like the beginning of kind of like what this whole thing is?
Yeah, I mean I realized that was a possibility, is probably the best way to put it. I was like, okay, cool. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not possible for everybody, and there are a lot of logistical challenges. Like the whole weekender around Neckfest was born out of the fact that Baylor couldn't really justify coming over to Scotland from Ireland for one show. So I was like, and I think they also had a tour like down in England and stuff booked later on in the month. So like they couldn't go that far south. So I was like, right, well, I'll just do a northern one. And then I ended up working with my friend Sean Black on the Aberdeen show, and the cool guys in Pink Emo Promotions, which is Andy Davidson and Nairn. I think it's Nairn or Dylan. I can never remember his actual name, but he was a guitarist in Grievance. He's a really sound like guy, really nice. My names are really shit right now because I'm talking. It's been recorded.
Guy from Dundee.
But he's a sounds fuck guy. He's a great guitarist. But they helped put the show on there, and it was just such a good experience. And then I did another one recently with Negative Measures. That came through being friendly with Chris from Baylor, because he wanted to do some Scottish shows with Negative Measures, and he was like, "Oh, Finn's the guy. We'll get this hooked up." Baylor unfortunately couldn't do it because they had other stuff going on, which is going to be awesome when it eventually comes out and about. But like that came out of kind of like the first one, and a lot of it is like kind of who you know. But I think it's having the right attitude and just trying to be chill about stuff. And like anyone, if you've seen me at a show on like show day, I'm like the most stressed out asshole ever, especially if I'm putting a show on. Like, oh man, like everything needs to be perfect. And then see, as soon as everything starts falling down a hill, like it's fine, I don't care.
Yeah.
And like it's great crack, and like everyone pulls together and has fun. But just getting to that point is really stressful for me. But it is rewarding in its own way. I like it.
You do tend to look back at a lot of these things with you tend to forget a lot of the struggles that go along with putting on a banging show. A lot of those things that you just kind of think like, oh, what time's load in? Oh, what time's sound check? These kind of things. Like when you're just the band and you're just focused on yourself, it doesn't seem like that much. But when you're having to be that guy that's in charge of all of the other bands and the sound guy and the lighting guy and letting public in and all that other kind of shit, it does seem a bit overwhelming. And fair play to you for like fucking doing it, man, because as much as I like to say, yeah, I'm part of IHMR, like, yeah, I put on all the shows, yeah, with Finn, me and Finn are doing it, like it is, all I do is stand there with a camera and be like, look at Finn's amazing work. look at what he has produced here. So I mean, as much as I do like to claim a lot of your hard work, it is all on your shoulders that putting on the shows. Because I mean, without you, I mean, I'd just be filming a fucking empty Tooth and Claw stage.
It's a beautiful place to be.
But
we've all been there.
Future plans. I mean, I know right now it's hard to kind of know what we've got planned in the future. But I mean, I know me and you have kind of talked and about making our own little practice space, putting on future shows ourselves. Kind of going along those lines of possibly like an IHMR Studios. But obviously, as much as it's all pie in the sky right now, we used to say that about putting on shows.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I mean, have you got anything? I mean, I know you can't put anything in stone with what's going on, but is there anything that you'd like to do in the near future with IHMR and putting on shows and to do with the scene and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like when I look at like gigs that I want to put on, it's more than just like a hardcore show. It's more than just like a pop punk show. Like I want to try and bring bands to Inverness and like the north of Scotland that I think like people love bands. Like for example, Not Loose are a great example. Like, but you have to be realistic with like, okay, what could they draw realistically, and then how much can you charge, and then how do you offset that against the cost of the venue, and then even if you're in Aberdeen, you're like, what venue will take this that can have more than 50 people in it, and that's like a reality and a real challenge, but it's something that I quite enjoy trying to figure out and get round. But the major sort of thrust that I was having this year, but it's kind of all fallen apart because of COVID, but was booking more shows that are something different. Like, so there was a really frustrating, because this would have been great. It was a Canadian like melodic thrash metal band. They were coming over, and I had them on a date on the 31st of May, but it wasn't announced yet, but they obviously had to say, look, we can't come over right now.
Yeah.
So that would have been a cool new one. I did the Deranged show. I took that over from another promoter who unfortunately had to step down for a bit. And that was really good fun. It was something I normally wouldn't have probably gone for, but it taught me, oh, you can actually have a lot of fun with something different. And the band were really great, and they had a great show. And James, the venue owner, was in Tooth and Claw, was very happy with it. I helped out putting on the Dancing with Dakota show that happened. That was good fun as well. Like, another cracking set of bands there. But I kind of like, the future is building upon what people want to see in the scene. Like, I know I can't like ask people enough times, like, what bands do you want to see here? And like, as much as I want to see Slipknot play in Tooth and Claw, it's not going to happen. But like, you know, there is a reality to be had of like, okay, well, what if metal is shown to be really popular, and like heavier stuff is really popular in here, you know, and then Belladrum maybe turn around and go, do you know what, we'll do a heavy stage this year.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can maybe see, well, okay, well, what bands could we get? Because like, if you're talking about a stage at Belladrum, like, as I go on about them every single day of my life, Every Time I Die would be like a great headliner for that. Or, you know, could you potentially look at, what's another great example? Like some of the, like, Malevolence, or like some of the bigger British metal bands that are out there, you know, like Bullet, you know, throwing an example out there.
Fucking Silosis.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Thanks.
like,
you know, there's
these kinda
tons.
guys.
And then it's just like, okay, but without showing there's an appetite for it, no one will take notice of it.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them either. It's this thing. It's like, people are like, oh, nobody ever comes up to fucking Inverness, and oh, who gives a shit, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, but you don't go to shows, so like, it's no one's fault. Like, I can't go to every gig ever. Like, I don't expect anyone to, but like, you need to go to something to get something else to come out in the future. You know, like Bring Me the Horizon played in what, 2014, 2013. Sorry, 2013. And I couldn't make it because of my dad's funeral. But hey, I missed Funeral for a Friend. I missed Alexis on Fire. I missed like all of these great gigs. I missed Whitechapel when I think it was Trivium they supported. And like, now I'm like, what an idiot. So
same thing, man.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Like, I just try and like I've learned from my mistakes, hopefully. So I just want to go to things that I can get to, and it will make a difference. And then we'll build stuff up.
I don't know if it was the same for you, but like, I always used to just think like, who is actually booking these shows? And then when I realized who was booking all these bigger shows, it's like, I don't really want them to be in charge of these bands. Like, not to be a dick thing, you just like, they're just gonna throw together like a little gig that's gonna have the same support bands who normally play all the bigger bands, and it's just like watching these people have all these big bands and maybe only putting on a half of what the event of what could have been there, if you know what I mean. I sort of felt like that a lot up in Inverness, like, if there was just a bit of planning that went onto this, there's like another gig the next day, just combine both the shows. Like, you see that happening a lot. I think it happened with The Devil Wears Prada and Knock Loose. Like, they just went fuck it, and they just combined both the tools. Like, Bristol just got like a mad little all-day fest. It's like, those kind of things are so cool.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. We all went down to go see both of those tours.
In
but
Glasgow,
obviously, in Glasgow, they were back to back, the Stray from the Path show and then the Knock Loose show. But obviously, you know, it just goes to show you, like, those two fan bases, you know, they overlap, and whatever that fucking two boob circle Venn diagram.
Venn diagram,
that's not a two boob circle thing. That's definitely not what it's called. But no, I totally get like that kind of, you know, seeing the mistakes that people make, and then wanting to like better it yourself and all that kind of stuff, and just doing it yourself and going out there and kind of putting the effort in, because as much as, you know, we can kind of complain about things not happening, unless you're doing something about it, it's like not voting. If you don't vote,
Totally.
you can't fucking complain.
Yeah.
You know.
And the problem is, it probably used to happen back in the day. I remember being in Glasgow once, and they pretty much had just done that. It must have been like a lot of tours that maybe wasn't going through Glasgow, and just on one day they had a big festival, and it was like I Wrestled a Bear once, Texas in July, D's Nuts headlined it, and there was like all these like random like local bands chucked in between, and it was like the garage, like G2 was open, the upstairs attic was open, and then the big thing was open. So like you could just like walk about here like a local band, then go upstairs, and there's I Wrestled a Bear once, then you go down the stairs, there's Texas in July, and I think those kind of things are just maybe don't happen because people, maybe there's not like an appetite for it, but people just don't say like, oh, I want it.
Yeah, so I mean, that and that's the thing, and that's what we're seeing happen here now. We're seeing it grow. We're seeing people like yourself, people like, we've mentioned their names. We'll probably have them on the podcast at some point. But these kind of people are doing the right thing and making things happen in Inverness. So I mean, that's what we like to see. So I mean, just as we end here, we were mentioning before we started, doing a little thing at the end of our podcast, and I was thinking, just any 3 bands you can think of, you got to fuck one, marry one, kill one. Any 3 bands, on you go.
Oh god. Right. Okay. So if I'm gonna fuck any band, it's gonna be
in a good way. It's a good kind of fucking.
There's only obviously. It would probably be Knock Loose because I love them and they're great.
They'd give you a good fucking
and
too.
They would, it'd be hardcore evening. And then I would marry Every Time I Die because they're legit my favorite band.
Wife material right there.
Yeah, they are. Just they're gonna deliver the goods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry. And then Kill. I don't know. It's weird. Like It's like people put a lot of energy into hating bands. I'm just like, if you don't like them, who gives a fuck? But Asking Alexandria can go fuck themselves. So yeah.
I was gonna say, if you don't want to be mean to a band, you can just kind of be like, well, here's a band that were good and maybe should just kind of like die off.
Yeah.
Like you could say like that. But if you want to just straight up, put Asking Alexandria down there, like that.
It's funny because they're actually not awful. Like at one point. But I just know that Craig, the singer from King Cobalt, is like one of my best mates. Like he loves Donny Warsnop and Asking Alexandria, so I was like, fuck them, they're assholes. Just to wind him up.
Anything to piss off Craig.
Yeah, exactly. Big Craig. So yeah.
But yeah, no, this was fantastic, and we'll be doing another one next week with a new guest. So thanks to Finn, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.
Peace.